that's going. Right, that's all good. Okay then, right, I'll give you a three, two, one. I'll mute myself and then you can start. So three, two, one.
Thank you, Megan. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to my session on personal branding. I guess I've been asked to talk about this because I would say that my personal brand has got much stronger in the last few years. And I think, I am going to say, I think that comes from getting a bit older and being a lot more secure and authentic in myself. So I think I've noticed definitely over the last, I don't know if I've noticed it more, but over the last sort of 6 months, a lot of event professionals doing their personal Instagram, having the word events in their title, and starting to really do their own social and content around their passions within the events industry. So that is fantastic, but the only problem in that is that it's becoming very, very saturated. And secondary to that, and I don't know whether anybody else has noticed, but I think I certainly have in the last, in the last probably month, I think it's probably more people have been made redundant or furloughed, and there's a lot of people popping up in what you might say is a one-man band. So popping up with a sort of own events agency, because potentially they're now on their own and not with an agency. So it becomes a very saturated market. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to stand out. And it's only from my personal experience and what's worked for me. So I started Make Events 8 years ago. In 2012, I was very, very green. I actually didn't know anyone in Manchester at all. And I just built the business from scratch through a sheer hard work and tenacity, but that's probably a whole other presentation. I was very, I'd come from a corporate background, so I was an event manager, client side for a pharmaceutical company, where the thing to wear was a black suit with shoulder pads and a blouse and high heels, and kind of that was what I sort of brought into the business. If you told me 8 years later I'd be rocking up to a client meeting in, you know, hoodie and trainers, I just wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have felt confident in that at all. So yeah, started to Make Events off and very much still have my corporate head on me. I also felt probably a bit insecure in the space, so probably like I was batting a little bit higher than I should be. And I can remember thinking, oh God, you know, one particular example would be all the Coronation Street stars having their celebrations and parties, and me just thinking, oh my God, I would never be cool enough to organise something like that. Fast forward to 2018, and we organised Coronation Street, Emmerdale's summer and Christmas parties for 2 years on the bounce. How did that change happen? So I think the more that you start to prove yourself, the more you build your self-esteem and your confidence. So the more that we were delivering jobs and delivering them successfully and then getting repeat business, the more that my self-esteem and my confidence would build. And then as those events got more well-known, people began to book us through word of mouth. So again, your confidence grows. Since I've had Make Events, we've gone through 3 looks of the brand, I guess. And the brand that we have at the moment was started in 2017. And I truly believe that is when the change began. The brand and the positioning that we'd had from 2012 to 2017 was very much what I perceived that the customer would want. And I went to an Event 360 event in 2016 and heard a talk. And one of the things that really stood out to me is your customer's truth is your truth, and your brand is a promise, not just a logo. And what did that mean to me? That meant that it didn't really matter what I thought. So for example, when a customer complains or somebody complains, a colleague or whatever, it doesn't matter if you wholeheartedly disagree with them, because that is their truth and that is what they think. And I think this is a great sort of analogy in life, that you can have fallouts with people in work and business, but your truth is your truth and their truth is their truth, and that's what they believe. And that triggered me to rebrand the business, but put it out to an external marketing agency. And it turned out that what we thought of our brand was very different to what our customers thought of our brand. So in 2017, we repositioned as Make Events, creating the ultimate experience. wanting to become the go-to agency for household names. So with that came a new logo which had 5 colours in the Pantones, which you've probably all seen. And I then delivered the whole brand reposition to my team. And it was at that point that I first talked about my struggle with mental health. And the reason that I did that is during the brand reposition, I'd also had feedback off the team. And some of the feedback was that Holly works at a million miles an hour and we can't keep up with her, and it puts pressure on us to work even harder. And that wasn't a good place for the team to feel. So I decided that if I shared my struggle with mental health, they would realise why I'm so passionate and determined, and I genuinely feel like I'm trying to claw back 5 years that I missed out from not being well. And that was the first time I'd ever spoke about my struggles with mental health, and I had been recovered at that point for 8 years. So once I said that, and once the brand was positioned in the right position, I really began to fall into my authenticity. And slowly but surely I became more confident, because I was confident that the brand was what the customers wanted. I was confident that I'd spoken my truth and hadn't been judged, and actually probably got more respect from that. And that's when I think personally my personal brand began to develop. So how did I do that? I began speaking more, getting the opportunity to speak and would weave in my mental health story. And I didn't do it for praise or because it was a popular subject at the time. I did it because to tell the story of Make Events, that was enabling me to tell the true story of why it started. Fast forward then to 2000 and sort of 18, 19, and we did our first internal comms conference, really practice what we preach. And we used all the bright colours of Make Events. We used all our brand values. So our brand values are magic touches. So that's pocketfuls of wow for every event. Anything is possible. So when a client asks us for an event, it's the answer is yes. What's the question? Be confident. That means that we are confident to offer advice to the client and not just say yes to everything, but in a very, very polite way. And get stuff done, which I've got on my t-shirt, which just means that if we say to a client we're going to get something done, or to each other, we get it done. So all those 4 brand values were weaved into the event, and our strapline is create the ultimate experience. So at our own internal comms event, we created the ultimate experience for our team and allowed them to connect back to being a delegate again and what that was about. And if you look at that conference, and it's all online on our YouTube channel, it is an absolute explosion of our brand, and it is so authentic to who we are, and that is what we aim to do for clients. So if a client comes to us, we want to make sure that their brand is populated through the entire event. And that started me buying clothes and accessories in our brand colours, as you can see. And in normal life, I wear black, white, nudes, metallic. But in almost my like superpower, when I'm on the stage or I'm speaking, it's like I have to wear the brand colours. So I've got collections now of mustard, hot pink, mauve, purple. And it's almost like when I'm going to deliver something for Make Events, I wouldn't be authentic to Make Events unless I wore those colours or a t-shirt with a brand value on. And yeah, so I think I'm speaking my truth, then I'm like looking like the brand. And slowly but surely that all started to fit together. Then we got our offices in February 2019. And for those of you that have been, or you are more than welcome to come when we're all allowed to visit, the offices is an absolute extension and story of our brand, from the Neighbours, the Australian TV soap, coffee shop area, booth area, because I was inspired by Daphne and Neighbours, to the fake Starbucks, because I've been hugely inspired by the Starbucks story, and you must read the book Onward, it's fantastic. To Kylie Minogue's dressing room, because Kylie was my absolute hero and I met her when doing an event. To Sue's shed, which was the shed that was in my garden when we started the business, that was our lock-up. And Sue, my first employee, who's still with us, used to manage the shed. So our stationery cupboard is called Sue's Shed. And everything in that office is a true story of the brand. So I can talk anyone through, and I think the team can, all our brand values and the story of our office, and everyone would know it off by heart. It's absolutely ingrained into everyone. Um, so I think then you get to a point where you will get, I was getting good feedback about the brand, the office, the conference, the way that I would speak, my social media. I have a marketing exec that does all Make Events social media, that's separate. I do shoot from hip with my social media. But what you'll notice is I don't just talk about events, because that's kind of what every professional's doing. So I like to talk about my setting up the business, the struggles that I've had in lockdown, the fact that I'm doing a fitness challenge, the fact that I love baking. So I just like to talk about my favourite things on my Instagram and my Twitter. And that seems to get really good reactions. And the other thing that I'd say to you is listen to your audience. So if you do a post and it doesn't get many likes, nobody's really interested. If you look at the posts that get more likes, do more of those. If you look at your stories that get more DMs, that's what people's interested in. Or maybe even do questions on your story. So I did some questions the other week saying, what do you want to hear about? And the main thing they wanted to hear about was the event industry information, event ideas, business strategy and startups and the whole girl boss thing. They weren't so interested in my fitness and my food. Now I will post those because they give me joy and I want to do it anyway. But if I want to engage more with my audience, it's going to be the other things that do. So I think listen to what your audience want and react to that. I would also say, I have shared a bit in lockdown that I have struggled. But what I would say is only share your story to people that are worth it. So I will share the top level line of my mental health issues that I feel comfortable to share, but only my loved ones will have ever seen the real darker side. So I believe share with people that are worth it. You don't know everybody on your social media, so just share what you're comfortable with them, because anything you put out there is then out there. So yeah, just to wrap up, what I would say is go from the heart. Don't feel that everybody at the moment is popping up on social with events this, events by this, events in this. Stay true to what you do, because it's like when people apply to us for a job in events, I get so many CVs, and whether they've done event management or really where they've worked isn't what's going to stand out to me. It's going to be something really different, like the way it looks, or it's sent with something, or the person's so tenacious that they've DM'd me on Instagram, they've emailed me, they've tweeted me. It's going to be that secret something, that different something. So yes, you can post all the events you love. Yes, you can post all the events you've organised. Yes, you can have that in your title. You can have all the graphics. But post something more than that that makes people interested in you and capture their imagination, but make sure it's stuff you're comfortable to share. I hope that's really helped. I am open to any questions on business, personal, whatever you want to ask me. And I hope you've enjoyed the talk.
Brilliant.
Good?
See, told you it was one take wonder.
Oh, good, a cup of tea now. Is that all right then?
That was brilliant, yeah.
Is there anything else? I've just seen from Rachel, we've been filming all day actually, so I've literally just got in. Was there something I needed to do tonight on it?
Nothing else for you not for me anyway, unless there was something else for the girls, but
I'll look.
Yeah. My key thing was just get your main session recorded, and then I've got this, I'll load it into the exporter, get the timings out of the schedule then, and then I'll then start sending out the Zoom invites for tomorrow, which are the correct timings based on when your Q&A is.
Amazing. I'm going to watch the whole thing anyway. Do we get a copy of this as well? Do you know? Like, do we get the pre-record back?
You can have it if you want it, yeah.
Yeah, because I might as well use the content, because I haven't got anything filmed on personal branding, so I might as well use it.
Oh, there you go then. I'll knock some lower thirds in there for you in bits and pieces, and leave it empty for templates, and you can get your graphics team to zap it all up.
Amazing. Oh, thank you so much, and thanks for your patience yesterday. Was the right one. And then I was like, oh yes, it's totally my fault.
We've done a switch now anyway, so it's my turn to be in gym gear and your turn not to be.
Oh, all right then. Thanks so much.
No worries, and I'll send you over the invite. It'll be late tonight. It'll come through, but it'll come tomorrow, and it won't be for the whole event. It'll just be purely for 15 minutes before you're due to be on for Q&A, and then to the end of Q&A, and I'll probably add 5 minutes on after that. So you then know it's still loose-ish, but when you come in, if the other live sessions have run under really badly,
Yeah.
You might find you might be on in about 5 minutes, you know,
Yeah.
rather than 15. But I'm just covering myself so that you're
That's
in the
fine.
Q&A.
I can do whatever. That's absolutely fine. Thank you so much.
No worries. We'll have a lovely rest of your evening. Go and enjoy your wine, and I will
Thank you.
speak to you tomorrow.
All right. Bye.
See you later. Bye.